We don't know what the other things those people were doing in the studies.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, whether they were drinking or smoking, whether they were exercising, whether they had a terrible marriage or a phenomenal relationship, whether they are, you know, had great kids or terrible children that were causing all sorts of stress in their lives. And we don't know what their sleep looked like, which is undeniably more important than nutrition. We didn't know what
Sleep mean more?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter how perfect your diet is. If your sleep is a mess, your health will suffer without a doubt. And if you're not sleeping well, making good nutrition choices becomes exponentially more difficult because you don't have the willpower, you don't have the energy. You know, like the bottom line is energy is the currency of life, dude. So if you don't have energy, good luck following an exercise program, making good food choices, being a good partner, being a good person to your family and your friends. Dude, we need energy.
Yeah.
And sleep is the foundation of that for sure. And even just one poor night of sleep will make your blood sugar levels look like that of a diabetic. I mean, it's crazy the impact it has on our insulin sensitivity. And so,
have you heard that study about this might be a totally myth, but about the daylight savings time every year and the number of accidents that happen that day?
They just stopped it in California.
Oh, really?
Which I'm pretty stoked
Wait, you don't
about.
have daylight savings in California? Or?
So they just stopped it. So we just changed the clocks, you know, last week or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's going to stay like this.
No way.
Yeah.
Just like Hawaii, because Hawaii we don't change.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some
But they
study,
always used to change it.
They change it. Because, and then like every year, the highest amount of, it was like something like the highest amount of traffic deaths happened on the day of that people got an hour less sleep.
Well, there's a ton of, so that's not a myth. That's an absolute fact that there's a massive spike in number of fatalities.
Yeah.
Some are from, you know, vehicle accidents. Some are from heart attacks.
Yeah.
Some are from all sorts of other things that just like people's sleep gets thrown off a little bit and bad shit happens.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty wild.
Yeah, crazy.
That's the reason I moved to Hawaii.
Just for no.
Yeah. It's too hot in Arizona. I didn't like it there, so I had to come here. Yeah.
That's funny.
But I think the bigger point, Brandon, is don't let all the conflicting research bother you. Like, again, whatever a study says, if you eat this way and you're looking better, you're feeling better, your biomarkers are looking better, every objective and subjective measure is telling you, like, bro, this is good for you. Don't let this study or that expert or this person or this social media person tell you otherwise. Like, you know your body. You know what inputs make you feel good versus that don't.
Yeah.
And beyond subjective feelings, run some lab testing.
Yeah.
See what your biomarkers look like. Run some blood work.
I want to dig on that. Like, what does that mean? Okay, because I know people do that. I have a lot of friends that do that. Ryan was talking about he did it with you.
Did it.
Yep.
Right? Like, what is that? Do I just go to the hospital and be like, hey, I need some blood tests? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So no trip to the hospital necessary. You would want to either go to your primary care physician.
Okay.
And this is mostly if you're looking to get things run through insurance.
Okay.
And they're going to run a very basic blood work. So they're going to draw your blood out. They're going to look at essentially your complete blood count, your CBC, and a metabolic profile. So they'll look at like your kidney function, your liver function, your fasting blood sugar, and a few other things. Very basic. And what happens, unfortunately, is a lot of times people do that, and they're like, listen, dude, I got headaches, I got no energy, I'm having all these problems. And the physician, who means well in my philosophy, they do mean well. They're just not trained in a lot of this stuff. They look at those bloods, they say, you're fine, you're not dying, your bloods are fine, and they send them away, and, you know, they come back in a year. It might just all be in your head. So they don't provide a lot of help. The type of blood work I run with people, and if you wanted to do this, you would want to seek out either a functional medicine practitioner, a naturopath, clinical nutritionist, someone that actually does this as part of their work and their specialty. And you'd run a whole battery of blood work that goes above and beyond just like your basic, what's your total cholesterol and what's these very basic panels. Yeah. And that'll give you so much insight into your body. It'll tell you where your hormones are at. Do you have low testosterone? Maybe that's why you don't have much energy. Maybe that's why you're having trouble losing weight. Maybe I'm not saying this for you specifically, but just in general, issues that a lot of people suffer from can be identified through running blood work. So looking at hormones, looking at a lot of other things like inflammatory markers, your hemoglobin A1C that assesses your blood sugar stability, looking at other things that can be very insightful from a blood work perspective. So you have bloods that can be very helpful for people that help steer your recommendations. And then you have what I call kind of functional medicine testing. This is more advanced testing where you're looking at things that you can't really get through blood work. So I like one called an organic acids test. It assesses any microbiome imbalances, so kind of looking at your gut health. So there too much yeast or fungus? Is there too much bacteria? Is there any pathogenic bacteria? It also measures your vitamin levels. It measures your amino acids. It measures your neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, and looking at these critical brain chemicals that are responsible for things like anxiety and depression and a lot of mental challenges people suffer from and just poor quality of life.
Yeah.
So I like those. I like I'm a data guy, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, the more data we have, the better. So if someone comes to me, I'll talk with them and say like, here's what this test costs. Here's what this test costs. You decide what you want to run. This is the value we're going to get from this testing. And for someone like yourself, who's just like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where to start, how I'm doing, what I should change, if anything. Maybe you're doing great. This would be a good option for you. Because, I mean, even just a few $100 would get you a really good blood panel. And for less than $1,000, probably $700 to $800, you can run like a whole battery of testing. Now, I will say a lot of people inflate those numbers because there's markup and different things, but realistically speaking, you could run a lot of good blood work for not that much money.
Yeah, I was at a conference, I don't know, a year ago or so, and I heard somebody, I think David Sinclair, maybe, like he's a Harvard longevity guy, and there's a few others there, but I can't remember if it was David or somebody else, but they were talking about this idea of like, basically what you're saying there is that we can look at our body, like the numbers, the data, and it's like, hey, you're too low on this, so then eat more of this.
That's right.
Right? And you could, and I'd never realized you can gamify your body and your health, right? And it blew my mind. And I'm like, so how far away are we from this? And maybe they have it today, I don't know. How far are we? I could have like a thing on my arm, right?
Yeah.
That's always monitoring all of it.
Yeah.
And just hooked up to my phone. It's like, hey, it looks like today I want you to eat 4 more ounces of red meat because you're a little low here and here.
Yep.
Like, it just always tells you what to do all the time. Is that coming? Is that here?
That would be tough. That would be tough because, so we have things on the way there.
Yeah.
We have what's called continuous glucose monitors.
Yep. Okay,
it's in your arm all the time. It's
diabetics
telling where
have
your
that,
blood sugar. But now a lot of biohackers and people in the health space are using them to see like, hey, if I have rice, how does that impact my blood sugar? If I have potatoes, because different people have a different glycemic response to different foods. And so a guy named Rob Wolf wrote about this in his book, how he took, CGMs and he basically tracked blood sugar readings from 2 groups of people given a banana versus given a cookie. Most people would objectively say, like, dude, the cookie's going to be way worse. It's like refined sugar, refined grains. It's a problem. It's dessert. The other one's like, oh, that's fruit. It's got fiber. Well, some people responded worse to the banana than they did the cookie. Same person, 2 different foods. And then other people the opposite. So that's where the CGM can give you more data in that
so
regard.
You're saying we should eat cookies, not bananas.
Yeah, that's the best takeaway you could have gotten from this analogy.
All right, guys, that was a great show.
So
Thanks for
now I'm
coming.
going to get some cookies.
Yeah. Got a whole bunch up there.
Yeah, perfect. But and then there's other devices, like I'm wearing this ring. It's called an Oura ring. And there's the Whoop, which can quantify your sleep and your heart rate and your HRV and a number of different things that can give you really good insight to gamify your health, gamify your sleep. When I go to bed, how much deep sleep did I get? How much REM sleep did I get? How many wake-ups did I have? Really cool devices. But to assess your nutrients in real time is more challenging because you have to look at what's intracellular levels versus just what's in the serum. One example of this is you could test your, let's say, serum magnesium, and your body is going to keep your electrolytes relatively stable within your bloodstream for health, because you could actually die if your electrolytes get too off balance. But you could be completely deficient in magnesium within your cells. And so you'd want to run what's called a magnesium RBC, what's in the red blood cell. You could take this same example with vitamin B12. You could take the same example for a lot of things of looking like what's in the blood versus what's inside your cell. It can be 2 different things. And with what you're describing, I think it would be hard with the technology we have available today to, in real time, assess your intracellular levels.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some correlations and some markers we could look at. But I think what you're describing is probably, I don't know, I would say like 5 to 10 years down the road, but it could come sooner.
Yeah.